Everybody, Brian Good here. As we head into Derby weekend, there's a lot to discuss, and as expected, we're starting to fine-tune some of the details here, and that's to be expected as we get a better handle on this low as it moves to the area, because the models are not perfect. They're just tools we can use, and we just got to analyze the radar and compare it and try to do our best to nail it down specifically, because I know that's what you guys want to know. But we need to start with the now, so let's get that out of the way. We've got these bands of showers now passing through. I've got the visible satellite turned on underneath that gray layer from space, because we're now getting enough daylight to see where the clouds are, and there's a lot of them. The general showers tracking off to the north and east. There's gaps in there, so we'll have some breaks every once in a while, or we'll have some drier weather or drizzle at the most of the times, and then we'll get more thunderstorm action potential later on, looks like today. Here's a satellite image that just came in down to Tennessee. This is relatively high level canopy of cloud cover. We'll see how this plays out. You can actually see, especially with the turbulence, where the low is across Memphis, in the Mississippi area of Tennessee, Mississippi River Valley, I should say. We'll see how much sun can break out. I still think anything strong and or severe that were to develop thunderstorm-wise is going to be east of 65 here. But we'll take a look at that more in just a second. You can see the spinning motion of the low right over Jonesboro, Arkansas. But notice where the low is, the core of the low, there's not much going on. And we will eventually see that dry pocket work its way in here later on for tonight. But the track is crucial on that, because the northern side will stay on the rainy period of things. And if that core, this donut hole, if you will, say it were to track over Nashville instead, then the top part of that will keep a constant rain all the way into Indiana, and that's why the flash flood watch is in effect for northern counties for that potential there. So the track of the core of that low and that donut hole, if you will, is crucial too on rainfall amounts. So we're watching that carefully as we get into tonight for that particular issue. Otherwise, it's warming ahead of it. We're 53 now, but it's in the 60s to the south, and I think these breaks, we can get some warmer air in here. We got a northeast wind at the moment. We should get more of a southeast wind later on. Storm Prediction Center, they're about to update this here shortly. But they do have a marginal risk out for our southeast counties. It's just that, marginal. It does not include officially Louisville, but can't rule out some lightning. There is a flash flood watch effect again for the northern counties. Weather Service is not really sure where or when to expand it anymore into our area, closer to the river, until we get a better handle on the track of that low and rainfall totals. But that's something that could happen at the last minute, so just be aware of that. Okay. So let's look at some of the models here. First off, here's the herd model for this afternoon. Notice it's got these reds showing up, bands of clusters of thunderstorms here. And notice most of it is south and east of Louisville. Here's Louisville right in here, by the way. Heavy rain, certainly. But as far as thunderstorm action, it looks to be mainly Georgia, east central areas of Tennessee, and perhaps into our southeast counties, basically where the marginal risk is, although the marginal risk may be a little too far west. And when you look at what we call the Lithon Index, we got some negative values showing up here, which tells us that the potential for lightning is there, including for Louisville for parade time. We could see some lightning strikes. Certainly a little more with the thunderstorms, of course, into Tennessee and Lake Cumberland area of Kentucky, but can't run a few lightning strikes locally. That's something we'll have to monitor carefully. Hopefully nothing long-lasting because of the parade. Now, as far as severe potential, though, really the strongest wind fields this afternoon are going to be to our southeast. And that's where, it's going to be breezy at times for a little while as that wind core moves in. But again, that donut hole will be approaching, so the winds aloft will begin to ease a bit. But we've got to watch out, because there will be some turning of the wind with some of these storms in our southeast counties. This is a setup that can produce isolated tornado warnings. And I still think it's going to be perhaps Adair County, maybe Marion and Taylor, maybe. More likely in Tennessee. An isolated tornado warning can't be rolled out just because of that natural spinning motion of that low. That's something we'll watch, but I don't think it's an issue for us here in Louisville. All right, so here's the look. I think the best way to approach this through Derby is looking at the 700 millibar moisture level. Gives us a good handle of how things are going to trend with the thick layer of cloud cover and the showers. And as we get into the overnight period, you can see where it's trying to take the donut hole, if you will, that's the best way I can word it, the core of the low over Nashville. But it tries to keep areas along the river, that northern fringe, the whole time. So we'll have to see how that plays out. It may be too far south. It may be a little more of an opening to that gap there. We'll see. Now, as we get into tomorrow, we should still be in somewhat of the drier part of that early on for Oaks Day. So the shower activity in the radar early on should be mainly focused closer to Evansville. But as the day wears on and the low gets more east, then we will get back into that thicker cloud layer and more of the showers. And you see the wind flow here. It's coming in out of the north, a little bit northeast. That's a chilly wind, so temperatures may actually fall a bit when the rain picks up. The scattered showers, we may reach our high at midday on Oaks Day and then fall back. Either way, it's going to be in the 50s officially, but I would dress for 40s, okay? And then as we get into Oaks night, into very, very early, just before sunrise, Derby Day. This looks good. If we could just stop here, it'd be great. We get at this dry punch of air behind the low. It finally leaves us. But look at this. Another little wave, the one we've been tracking now for days, begins to drop in from the northwest. And it should arrive, and this is an interesting trend since yesterday, is to bring in the moisture levels at 700 mid to late morning, close to noon. Some scattered showers will likely accompany this little band of moisture. So we'll cloud up in the morning period of showers early on. But here's what's interesting. See this little dry slot? It's like an arrow, if you will, kind of pointing right at us. In the afternoon, that dry punch works its way in to central Kentucky. The question is, how much of that will be into Louisville? We'll have to wait and see, because then at that point, anything that were to redevelop shower-wise, Derby afternoon, be to our east and to our south. We could even, these levels are dry enough. The sun can come out in this zone. And with the sun setting where it does, that could allow for a pretty sunset right at the point of the run for the Roses. Wouldn't that be a perfect end to a dreary forecast? It is possible. I am not writing that off the table, guys. I'm really not. So I'm trying to end on a positive note, okay? Oaks, here's the details. And again, rain chance every hour pretty much, but there will be more of a spike in the rain chance once we get more onto the backside of that low. Temperatures likely will hit their max point and then fall a little bit in the afternoon. Dress for the 40s. For the Derby, 143, rain chance early on with that first wave of moisture. And then I'm going to be optimistic and say we will get enough sun to get us back into at least 60, maybe over 60 by a couple degrees. I'm going to think positive. Let's look rain totals, though, real quick, for those of you wondering about that. This will depend on the thunderstorm action, so this is going to highly vary. This is tough to nail down, but in general, 1 to 2 inches is likely for a lot of us. But you see, like Seymour, 3.5 inches of rain. Some areas, depending on the northern core of the donut hole overnight tonight and thunderstorms on top of that, you guys could exceed 3 inches. So thunderstorms, though, even in central Kentucky could do that. So we got to monitor this carefully for rainfall, but I think a general 1 to 2 is a good rule for this. And for those of you playing in stuff even far out, your earliest alert, look at that. Sunday, beautiful weather, back into the 70s and 80s. Although another trough digs in for Mother's Day weekend. I'm going to go dry for Mother's Day for now, but if that low gets cut off like the one is now, we may have to cool the numbers down even more Mother's Day and add some rain chances. Let's try not to do that, though. We've had enough of this.